1 week from now, we're jumping into Season 1 of Modern Warfare 2, and for many, also Warzone 2 and DMZ. Now, as the time of this video going up, we'll probably start to see creators streaming DMZ and Warzone 2, which we'll be recapping here tonight for you as well, so make sure you stick it here on the channel. We'll have another video going up later tonight, but for now, I'll run down everything that we learned in regards to Modern Warfare 2 Season 1, since there is a lot to go over. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below. What are you looking forward to the most here? What are you excited to see revealed with Season 1? Is it multiplayer content, Warzone 2, DMZ, whatever the case? Drop your thoughts below. If you enjoyed the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. We're chasing down 600,000 subscribers, and with 70% of viewers not subscribed, I'd love to have you in the community if you'd like to stay on top of everything. But for now, let's jump into what we learned here in regards to Season 1. Now, as of today, we ended up getting a blog post from Call of Duty where we got our things like a roadmap. Kind of surprised we actually got it this early on. Usually that's reserved for like the Monday of the launch week. So we got that, plus also a lot of rundown and details about every facet of what Season 1 will entail. Starting on a top-down level here, let's start with the roadmap itself. We of course see detailed Warzone 2, Modern Warfare 2 content, a new battle pass, the Modern Warfare FC event, which we'll get to in a second, that being the crossover between footballers or soccer players within Modern Warfare 2, and then as well the operators, weapons, and other things we'll see coming throughout the season. Warzone 2 is detailing the new map of Al Mazrah. We saw that previewed a little bit at COD Next. DMZ, still playing it very close to the chest here at this one. Doesn't detail a lot in the roadmap, but also doesn't detail a lot in the blog even, as we'll briefly mention. We have the new Gulag featured, the new vehicles of the Heavy Chopper and the Hummer EV. We have new in-game features of aquatic combat, the circle collapse, proximity chat, new buy stations, third-person playlist, and interrogation coming to BR. We have Modern Warfare 2 showcasing a shoot house and shipment as the two maps within season. We have raids coming in Spec Ops in season. We have a new co-op mission, High Ground, at launch, and the CDL Mosh Pit coming. The Battle Pass is detailed as a new system, which we'll get into in just a second. The new operator of Zeus, as well as new weapons of the Bass P and the Victus XMR. Later on in the season, we'll end up seeing the M13B and the Chimera, both ARs, and then we'll have new operators of Gaz and Klaus in season, with a couple of bundles sprinkled in there. But beyond that, the big marquee ticket item here is, of course, Warzone, launching with Season 1 of Modern Warfare 2, Warzone, and then a subsidiary of DMZ, which we'll talk about in just a second. That is something that we'll be playing on Al Mazrah, the brand new map here at this, with 18 major points of interest for Battle Royale and also that new DMZ experience. It's detailed that there are massive gameplay innovations that we saw already and some that are changed from what we saw at Next, and a shift to perspective with third-person playlists coming in season to Warzone 2.0 as well. So kind of that classic third-person BR mode as an LTM, which will be interesting to see. Now, the big thing with Warzone that was detailed here out of this blog post up front and initially is that loadouts are not leaving the game, though they are changed ever so slightly. They're not quite to the point of how they were within Warzone 2.0 at COD Next back in that September reveal, but instead we're going to be able to get our loadouts in a couple of different variations here. Firstly, the big one is your primary weapon. So this is available via the shops, which is just a brand new way to say the buy station, where you can purchase your upgraded weapon from your custom loadout in that shop. So you can buy just the weapon, not the actual loadout itself. There'll be a loadout drop public event where loadouts will drop into Al Mazrah, but the interesting part here is that these aren't going to be player specific. These aren't going to be specific to a singular team. They're going to be a finite number of loadout drops around the map that you can go, but also somebody else can go for that same exact loadout drop. So there will be some contention there and interesting gameplay dynamic that comes out of that. And then strongholds and black sites will be available for players to earn their loadout drop early game as a reward for clearing out those highly guarded areas. It's also stated that Warzone looting will be the same as Warzone 1, but with a slight twist here with that new backpack system in DMZ primarily. But you'll have the backpack, you'll have that duffel bag and such, where you can put your supplies, but when the player dies, they drop their primary weapon on the ground and their backpack, which contains the rest of the content, but it's something that when you loot it, it'll still pop out of containers like it did in Warzone 1. The Gulag has changed, which is definitely interesting because we saw it at COD Next. You had that 2v2 format. That still stays the same, but the Jailer is now that sort of centerpiece here, where it offers up an interesting gameplay dynamic because you can either fight the players in the Gulag or you can take out the Jailer, and all 4 players in that Gulag will end up returning back to battle. Now, if nobody ends up winning, that overtime period is crossed, all 4 players then lose. So make sure, at least if you're going into overtime, you get those kills quick or take out the jailer quickly. Otherwise, everybody's the loser. AI have now been designated only to strongholds, black sites, and the gulag overtime. So that's a nice change here that we'll see. We, of course, have new aquatic combat, new vehicles, the fuel mechanic with those vehicles so that there's a finite number of travel distance and vehicle play before having to refill. So that changes how you have to approach vehicle gameplay overall. The new heavy chopper and Hummer EV are going to be in the game as well. So there's a lot of stuff that comes down to it with that one. Now, as for DMZ, it quite literally has the probably smallest subsection in this entire blog, which just basically says, in addition to the traditional Warzone modes, Battle Royale, solos, duos, trios, and quads, Warzone 2 will launch with an experience known as DMZ. It's an open world, narrative-focused extraction mode where operator squads have free reign to complete faction-based missions, take on additional side objectives, engage with enemy operators or AI combatants, and search for valuable items, all while fighting to survive toward exfil. So that's something that's quite literally all they gave us. Not a whole ton of details, though they did say we'll see a tactical overview to this closer to the launch next week. So expect a larger blog post out of all of that. In season, of course, the third-person playlist is going to be coming. That'll be interesting. Curious to see how that breaks down. They detailed a little bit about Warzone Caldera and how there's going to be an intermission and relaunch of the current Warzone experience that we have right now. Now, we're going to break this down a little further, I think, either tomorrow or the day following, just because there's a lot that goes into this, but it is something that sort of top level here. We're going to have a break where Warzone 1 is offline for a couple of days. Then when it comes back online, it's going to be rebranded as Warzone Caldera, and things like Rebirth, things like Fortune's Keep, those are no longer going to be in the game. That was rumored, but it's now officially confirmed here by the Call of Duty blog that that is going to be the case. But again, we'll come back to that and detail it all in full in just a little bit of time here, but in the interest of time, we're not going to go too far in depth with it right now. As for Modern Warfare 2's content, we'll have Shoot House at launch and shipment set for the reimagined return sometime in season, likely that mid-season update. Admittedly, I'm a little disappointed here with this. We talked about it yesterday. I was really hoping that 2 maps per season is just a fluke within Vanguard, that they kind of dropped development to work on the rumored now Modern Warfare 2 Year 2 stuff, but it doesn't look to be too promising now with this. I'm really hoping that maybe they drop a surprise map or 2 with mid-season, but right now, a little disappointed that we're not going to see as many maps here, at least up front, within Modern Warfare 2 Season 1. We'll have the new Ranked Play CDL Mosh Pit, getting players ready for Ranked Play, but also, again, as we mentioned, without those penalties of, say, leaving early, no ELO-based SR that you end up grinding out, so it's a lot more casual an experience, but gets you ready for what's upcoming. And then Spec Ops will have a new mission at launch, with raids coming for mid-season. High Ground being that new mission coming at launch, but the mid-season is stated as continuing the story of the campaign through raids, and it'll be the ultimate challenge for trios with a mix of stealth, all-out action, and puzzle-solving objectives. I'm really interested to learn more on that, to be honest with you. Now, finally coming at launch here at this, we will see Tier 1 and the combat record. Unfortunately, the combat record isn't something we're going to see before Season 1. Now, granted, with only a week left, it is kind of, well, I guess that makes sense, but at the same time, bummer that it's been held off for 3 weeks post-launch to end up getting. Now, interestingly, the career challenges, that's actually not something that was mentioned here that we still do not see, and apparently this was also entirely removed from the Everything You Need to Know blog post pre-launch. So no mention of it now at this point. So are they coming at all? And beyond that, on a more top-down level thing here, we got a new battle pass coming with Season 1. This not going to be so sort of structured in a 1-to-100 format, but instead, they're going to be sectioned off into what they described as sectors of a battle pass, where you can unlock what you want, when you want, by getting unlocked tokens essentially for it. So that'll be interesting to see how this all works out and how this is formatted. We're going to go in depth more into this here a little later on down the line. I think tomorrow is the video scheduled for that, where we talk about the progression in terms of rank, but also then in terms of this battle pass system. And actually talking about rank a little bit further, that's something we can move on to, where we will see the seasonal prestige system, but unlike prior prestige systems, this isn't going to reset come Season 2. It's going to be just simply progressive. So where we have a sort of level cap right now of level 55 in those military ranks, we're going to see a level cap within Season 1 as well, that being 250, but again, we'll break that down a little further. We have operators of Zeus, Klaus, and Gaz coming throughout the season, as well as the Modern Warfare FC event, which will see us playing as Neymar, Paul Pogba, as well as Leo Messi. Those coming a little later on down the line. And beyond that, that's essentially Season 1 in a nutshell. Again, we'll break some of this down way more in depth and not just just at top-down levels a little later on down the line here as the weekend progresses. But that is a lot to digest and a lot to look forward to over the coming next few days. So that's what we're going to call it. Again, make sure you stick it here on the channel. We will have some extra content coming up later tonight and all throughout the weekend here. So make sure you stick it here on the channel if you guys are at all interested in Season 1. But let me know your thoughts down below. What are you guys looking forward to the most? Anything that you're really excited for? Anything maybe that you're not so excited for? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.